What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Suzette, and for those of you returning, welcome back. For today's video, I'm going to be doing something very different, and it's something that I've been meaning to do for a long time now. I just never, I was never comfortable 100% sharing it until I felt like I was ready. Each and every single one of you are very special to me, and I feel like in order for you to understand me better and get to know me better, I want to share my story and most importantly inform others of something serious that I didn't know about, my family didn't know about until it happened to me. The reason why I'm actually doing this video is because I want to share my story and maybe help out someone else out there who went through something that I went through, or so you know someone who's going through something that I went through, and maybe I could reach out and help them, but not only just help them but help me and get things off my chest. Today's just going to be a really casual video. I first want to do a disclaimer. If you're going to leave anything negative or rude in the comments down below, just don't even think about doing it, because it's a waste of your time and I'm going to just delete it anyway. So I try to keep this a positive community where people can come, and there's not really any place for hate here, especially on this video. Second disclaimer is I'm making this video not for attention. I just strictly want to inform others and share my story. When I was 16, I was living it up, summer 2016. I was super excited. Sergio and I recently just started dating. I was about to be a junior in high school and I was really excited. It was summer. I was happy, thriving, you could say, and I started to feel a little sick. I started having a really bad headache, wouldn't go away, a stiff neck, like could not move my neck. I started to have a rash underneath my skin. It was like kind of this purple tone underneath my arms, and I went to my pediatrician and he said, you know what, you're just going through a little virus, like it'll go away. It didn't go away, and a few days later I was in my house and I had a seizure in my home, and my mom knew that something was wrong with me because she said there's no way that, you know, my daughter just has a virus. Like, she has this bad headaches. I also had a very high fever and things were just not adding up. I went to a hospital nearby my home and they looked at me. I was there for a bit, I believe, and then I came back home. I had another seizure in my house, I want to say, and that's when I remember being woken up in an ambulance and taken to the hospital where they did a spinal tap test on me. For those of you who don't know what a spinal tap test is, it's basically where they inject a giant needle in your spinal cord to see what type of disease, or if it's in you, where it's at, basically. And it's really scary because if you do that incorrectly, it could kill you. So it was something that they told my parents, like, we have to do this, but just letting you know this could happen. My parents said, you know, whatever it takes, we're gonna do it. And during this period time, I do not remember a thing. That's what's very scary, is whatever I'm telling you right now is based off what my parents have told me, my doctors, my neurologist, my family, and my boyfriend Sergio. This is how I know, because at this time my memory from this event gone, which is so strange, but it is. That's when they found out that I had viral meningitis in my brain on the left side. So on the left side of my brain was where the meningitis was, and there are two types of meningitis. There's viral and bacterial. Bacterial kills you in 24 hours, and viral is, you know, you're more likely to live, but there are side effects of the viral meningitis, which I will get into in a few. After they found that out, they immediately airlifted me sometime around 2 or 3 a.m., some early time like that in the morning, from my hometown all the way to Ray's Children's Hospital in San Diego. literally, as much as I hated my experience, I am so grateful that it was in that hospital because they treated me so well. They treated my family so well. They had so many amazing doctors, neurologists, just their team in general. So many people, their RNs were just incredible, and they made my experience not as bad as it was. I was in the intensive care unit for, I want to say, 2.5 weeks, and it was the most craziest time in my life. I went from a normal 16-year-old girl to a 16-year-old girl in a hospital, not knowing if I was gonna make it. I want to say in total, I believe I had 4 seizures at the time I was sick. During this time I had 4 seizures, and the meningitis was causing those seizures. I also was extremely nauseous. I remember not being able to eat anything without, having it come right back up. I was on so many medications that I would take twice a day. It was ridiculous. I went from taking 17 medications to slowly decreasing one by one. Every single day as I was in the hospital bed, something new would happen. My memory started slowly coming back, and I like to use this word as alive again, because this is where I am, I want to say, the most conscious throughout this time. I remember just asking God, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my family? Why am I going through this? And at the time I was in a very negative, dark place because I was just so upset that this was happening to me, and I could just this was happening to me, and they didn't know how I caught this meningitis. They didn't know how, because normally you're either a college student or you fly out of the country, which is germs you get from people from all different around the world. However, I was just a 16-year-old girl. Like, I didn't go out of the country. I was just, having the time of my life in summer. So this is what made it super hard on me, was not knowing how I caught it. After being in the intensive care unit for 2.5 weeks, I was able to go home, as what I thought, until something happened that made my stay a little longer. So I had officially gotten discharged, and after I got discharged, we went to go have like a lunch at Subway that was on the first level of the hospital. Leaving Subway, I had the biggest seizure out of my entire time being sick. It was my 4th seizure, and I remember this seizure 100%. I can tell you everything I heard around me. I remember how I felt. I remember everything about this seizure. I don't know why, but I can tell you how it was. It feels like a cramp that's slowly going from your foot to your ankle to your leg to your thigh to your hip, slowly one by one, just like gripping you so tight. And it slowly just went all the way to my body, and I just remember falling to the floor. I remember not being able to breathe. I remember just all these waking up and all these people are on me. I truly believed in that moment that that was going to be it for me, and I am not exaggerating this in any way, shape, or form. I literally thought that was it, because they rushed me into a room. I had this on, and I was just gasping and gasping for air, and I just remember seeing my dad just look at me saying like, everything's gonna be okay, and me just like standing there with all these people on me, like putting these things on me, and it was just so crazy. I remember just like my whole body shaking, not in uncontrollable shakes. Not being able to control your own body is what a seizure is. And everyone has them different, and once you have one, you'll have those same ones, until your next seizure. So this was like all the other seizures I had, but 10 times worse. This one was very long, and I was awake for, I want to say, half of it. After that one had happened, that was my last seizure I have ever had. Because of everything that had been happening and the lack of hydration that my body had, I started to have kidney issues, and that caused another big issue. So I had to use more use more IV, I had to drink more water because my kidneys were starting to have really big issues, and I got an ultrasound on my kidneys, and my doctor said that they weren't looking too hot, so I had to really take care of that too. Throughout my experience, I did an MRI, I did EEGs, and an MRI is basically where they put you into this giant tube and they, check out what's going on in your brain. And I had to do it twice because the first time I guess I had moved too much where they couldn't really read it. So the second time I did it, I got put to sleep. I wasn't too happy with that because it scared me very much, thinking that they're putting me to sleep and I have no idea when I will wake up. And I did a couple EEGs, and EEGs are basically where they put this toothpaste consistency onto your scalp, where it connects into this giant camera where that can, like, not camera, but it's a big machine. And I did one of those for 24 hours, and that was so hard because I had my head wrapped in all this stuff, and I couldn't really walk without taking my little machine. It also started making me very weak, so getting up and walking, I would have to practice walking, which was so rare for my legs to feel so as if I had worked out for a week straight, just leg day, hitting leg day every day. That's what my legs felt like. So going for a walk around the hospital was just like, okay, like it took time to get used to, considering I was laying in a bed majority of the time I was there. It was very hard for my family because they were sleeping in the same room as me, and luckily throughout my experience I had one room. I didn't have to share a room with any other patient, which was very nice. But they were both super tired all the time, super stressed. It was not just affecting me, but it was also affecting my family. And my little sister wasn't with us at all during this time. She was with our family safe, and she would come visit too. Most people with meningitis, you lose a limb, so your arm, your leg, or you become permanently disabled. Not only that, but you can't walk, you become blind, and so many things could have happened. And I'm sitting here telling you that I am perfectly fine. I am 100% normal. I'm so blessed to not have been permanently disabled. I'm so blessed to be here. I'm not on any more medication. I was taking anti-seizure medication for 2.5 years. I've been exactly seizure-free for 1.5 years now, and I've been off my medication for 2 months. This is a very big accomplishment for me and my family, and everyone along the way with me during that time has been amazing. The amazing Chet team who flew me from my hometown to the hospital, incredible. All my RNs, incredible. My neurologist, incredible. Hands down the most amazing team who could have taken care of me. And every time I talk about this subject to other people, I get very choked up, and you probably could tell throughout the video I'm like swallowing because it's just very hard for me, and this overall experience was extremely traumatizing. And after I got out of the hospital, I started to deal with anxiety, and I was just very sad, and I was very disappointed that I cannot drive. And that leads me to one thing. The reason I cannot drive is because I was on anti-seizure medication, and by law I was not allowed to drive being on that medication, meaning if something were to happen to me behind the wheel, it would be worse behind the wheel than it would be if I was just, at home. That's why I cannot drive, nor do I have my license yet. But because I am now seizure-free, off my medication, I can now start to get my permit, get my license, and be able to drive. So that's one of the things that you probably have been wondering why, and this is finally you get to know the reason why. Couple things my family and I weren't aware of is that they now are starting to advocate meningitis a lot more, especially now that I'm in college. I am taking this very seriously, and hopefully one day I can develop some type of awareness foundation to spread more information about this disease and help impact others who have been through this disease, get in contact with other survivors, inform the youth about this and things that you didn't think could ever happen to you, but they do happen. And at the end of the day, it's something that I already went through, and the only thing I can do about it now is make something good out of what happened. Thank you guys so much for watching and taking the time to hear my story. I really appreciate if you keep everything positive in the comments down below, because this was something very hard for me to open up to you guys about, just because it is so personal. But I feel like it is the right time for me to share my story. And if you're watching this and you know someone who went through what I went through, or you have survived meningitis yourself, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to reach out. In the end of this video, I am going to be leaving some clips that I recorded all throughout my experience and that my mom had recorded, because I just want you guys to see that even though what I was going through, I still tried to be positive about it. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys real soon.
So here is Suzette, and she's going to be talking about meningitis.
Alright, so meningitis is a deadly disease that college students get, or people who fly out of the country. It is super important that us college students are aware of how fast germs spread and how fast they get into our bodies without us even knowing. According to the audience analysis, everyone in this classroom has at least heard of what meningitis is. My research includes information from Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego and information from neurologists. Today I'll be sharing how meningitis can shortly end your life, the side effects of it, and ways we can prevent ourselves from getting it. First, I will discuss the terrible things that meningitis does to your body. It can kill you in 24 hours. You heard me right. 24 hours. That's really fast, because there's two types, viral and bacterial. Bacterial slowly eats up all your insides all at once, killing you like this. And viral, you have a, well, better chance of living. Secondly, I will talk about the side effects of meningitis. You can lose a limb, your arm, your leg. Imagine being taken away something we use on a day-to-day basis. Or you become permanently disabled, meaning not being able to walk, talk, or even become blind. That's something we were born with, and then not being able to use it, especially right now in college. Finally, I'll explain the few ways us college students can prevent this disease. By washing our hands. Washing our hands seems pretty easy, but it's so important. Every day we go day to day, grabbing the doorknob, shaking hands, even a high five. We don't even realize all the germs that just go on our hands. So it's super important that you wash your hands, even carry hand sanitizer. Don't share the same straw or use the same drink as your friends. We all do it. like all the time. So it's so important that we stop doing that. It's the fastest way diseases and germs get transmitted into our bodies. And get a vaccine. The meningitis vaccine is available starting at age 16. In conclusion, today I told you about meningitis and how it can shortly take your life, the effects that it has on you, and the ways you can prevent it from getting into your body. Please take care of yourself. I can't express it enough. We're in college and it's super important that we take care of our bodies. Our bodies are temples. Also, be sure you always carry around a hand sanitizer. It's really important. And realize that all the germs that are around us, even the ones that are in this classroom. Meningitis is real, and you never think you get it, because trust me, I didn't either, until I did. I am proud to say that I'm a meningitis survivor. So the next time you want to share a drink with your friend, Starbucks, your favorite energy drink, I really hope you think twice. Thank you.
Thank you.